What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to Middletown Skate Park, a freshly painted Middletown skate park, so it's looking kind of nice. But in today's video, what I got for you guys is kind of like an introduction to tech skating or some tricks that might just take your ledge skating to that next level. So if you have a lot of the basic slides and grinds kind of down and you're like, where do I go next? Or can I do this trick because it seems kind of far-fetched? I have some tricks in mind that can kind of help get you to that spot. And these tricks I look at as they are tech, they are cool. I enjoy doing these tricks. I do them probably every day. But I feel like from an outsider looking in, they seem harder than they actually are. And I think that my way of explaining these tricks to you will hopefully help you like figure them out for yourself. It's kind of give you that extra like, oh, maybe I can do it. I never thought about it like that type of situation. But before we get into it, you already know I got to give a shout out to my sponsor of the channel, Epic Water Filters. Inside this water bottle, there is a filter. You fill this water bottle with wherever you get the water from, whether it's your sink at home or your spigot or just a faucet, whatever it is. This filter will filter out 99.9% of contaminants by the time it gets to you. You don't have to go buying water bottles. You can save your money, just fill up wherever and know that you're drinking nice, clean water. If you want to know more about the filters that they use or any like the details about these water bottles, check out epicwaterfilters.com. They got all the info there. And then if you do want to pick one up, use code EPICASTA and that'll get you 20% off your order, I believe. And that really does help me. It helps the channel grow. We have some good things in the works as well that I think you guys will be stoked on here in the future. So epicwaterfilters.com, grab yourself one. Good for you, good for the environment. It's a win-win. But I'm gonna go get warmed up. I'm gonna cruise around the park for a minute. I'll meet you guys back at the ledge. All right, well, we got our warm-ups in. It's starting to drizzle a little bit, so hopefully it's not gonna keep up for too long. That would suck. So obviously I already have my like flip ins and flip out videos up there. If you haven't seen the flip in, flip out videos yet, you can go watch those. I find these tricks that I'm about to go over right now a little bit easier than flipping in and flipping out. That's kind of why I'm gonna go over this as like an introduction to tech skating. Those flip ins and flip outs are almost a little more difficult, at least I think so, than some of these tricks. You wanna make sure you have the basics kind of down with these tricks. Get your like back tails, front tails, a few other tricks that I'm gonna go over. But the first thing I'm gonna go over is back tail shove. If you have back tails, you can probably back tail shove, especially if you can do back tail to regs and back tail fakie. Back tail shove is almost more of a trick that almost falls out. Like you get in the back tail and as it slides, you kind of just let the board go and shift your body back. It's almost like a body varial a little bit, as much as it is a shove. But I'm not gonna spend too much time on the back tail shoves. I feel like that's still a little bit on the easier side of what I'm about to get into. Again, none of these tricks I think are crazy hard and they're very achievable for someone who has the basics down, but I'll get a back tail shove for you guys just as an example. Always gotta make sure that shit slides. The first one actually got away from me a little bit, but as you can see, like as the tail slide slides, you kind of let the board go and then shift your body back. You don't really need to do too much of a shove effort. I mean, you want to make sure it slides good. You want to make sure it waxed up so that it kind of slides out on its own. Like if you could sit in a back tail for at least a foot or two, you could shove out. And I'm not really gonna go over front tail shoves. I just don't really do that trick much myself. I know that some people have a good one. I like Suchu's. Suchu does good front tail, like kind of front tail shoves. I wouldn't feel comfortable giving tips on that one since I don't do it very often, so I'm just not gonna get into it. The next tricks I wanna go over are nose grind 180s. Nose grind 180s are a super good trick to kind of throw in the beginning of a line or in the middle of a line. Always looks cool, a well-respected trick, and it's not that hard once you get the kind of motion down. It's kind of like a one motion, especially when you do a quick nose grind 180, it's almost a weightless type of trick. I would learn this trick going almost across a ledge or a bench and learning nose bonk 180s. Just doing nose grind 180 and back nose grind 180s real quick are the same thing. I'm gonna get a front nose grind 180 and then a back nose grind 180. Just quick ones on the end of the ledge. I find that they're easier that way. For nose grind 180s, I actually come at a pretty big angle. So I'll cruise up like this. And then as I pop, I open my shoulders and just press on the nose. So I should be, as I'm nose grinding, pretty open. Once you have that nose bonk motion, that'll just bring you around, having your shoulders open like that. You pop, you open up, and then as you nose bonk, the bottom half of your body should follow along with it. Backside nose grind 180s I find a little bit harder because just the way you kind of have to shift your body into going like completely backwards. It's a lot of your shoulder. So as you pop in backside, you want to kind of dive that shoulder down and almost start looking over this shoulder to bring it around. As you dive that shoulder in, you're kind of gonna pull the board backside kind of with your toes a little bit. I'll give you an example. I'll cover it in angles so you can kind of see what I'm talking about with my body, because this one is a little bit more tricky. It's hard to get the full rotation on the 180 out sometimes. You might give it a little skirt, but that's fine. As you ride up, you want to come at, again, a pretty decent angle. I think that helps carry you into that 180 if you come at a bigger angle. Let's get one. So it's almost like an overcrook too, a little bit. You want to kind of get in on that overcrook side. I find this trick to be easier sometimes if you do grind the whole ledge. Like you'll almost 180 out by accident sometimes. You'll get into that nose grind and you'll balance, 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 and eventually you'll be turning backside and hit the 180 out. That I think of as a completely different trick. I like the quick ones because of the way they look, the way they feel in lines and stuff like that while you're out filming. And I feel like it's just a better looking trick, like the quick nose grind 180. I've always liked it. Next thing I want to go over is 270s out. Not of all of them, but I find these ones to be the easiest ones. Half cab nose slide 270 is probably the easiest 270 out of any trick that I can think of. It looks kind of hard, it's cool. I always see people do it in contests and stuff, and it's always a crowd pleaser. People are like, whoa, it's like not as hard as it looks, I think. I don't know, maybe it's just me, and I hope it's not just me. I hope you guys can learn this trick too. So half cab nose slide 270, I feel like it's just the easiest 270 out there is because of the way that your momentum's going. So as long as you can half cab nose slide, you get into that half cab nose slide and you just like, you kind of time it so that by the time you get to the end of the ledge, your body is ready to whip around more. You know, you kind of let your momentum go. Basically what I mean is if I half cab in here, the whole time I'm sliding, I will be slowly, like my upper body, as I'm sliding, will slowly be turning more and more and more. And then by the time I'm at the end of the ledge, I'm so twisted this way that I just whip around. Your momentum, that's all it is. It will carry you the whole 270 the way. So it depends how long you're sliding it for. You can do quick ones, but the quicker you do it, the quicker you have to spin your head around, you know, as you slide. The longer you slide, the slower you can kind of spin as you slide so that you can whip out at the end. Maybe I'll do two, I'll do a short one, and then I'll try and do a longer one for you guys just for example. But yeah, let's get one. Under rotated on that one. So I hope you guys could see in that one, like as I was sliding, my upper body never really stops turning. And then right when I get to the end of the ledge, I'm ready to whip it around. That was kind of a mid one. Like I didn't slide too short, but I didn't slide too long. Maybe I'll try and slide one a bit longer for you guys. I mean, I landed pretty slow, but as you can see, like this trick kind of works as long as you figure out that momentum and like timing of it all. It really just is not as hard as you might think it is. So I feel like that's why it's another one of those like stepping stone tech tricks where if you can half cab nose slide, just figure out that timing of sitting on the nose slide and have your upper body keep spinning a little bit and you'll get it. And sticking with the 270 theme, frontside tailslide 270 is probably the next easiest 270 to learn, and it's not that bad once you got tail slides down. I'm actually not that great at this trick, but I think it's just because I'm not a great front tailer. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I don't do frontside tail slides too often. Once I learned back tails, I just put front tails like kind of on the back burner. Like I can do them obviously, but it's not as common as my back tails. This one might take me a few tries, honestly. But I think front tail 270 for most people is also another one to learn. I find it's easier than flip out for me. It's easier than like flip into a tail slide for me. So I feel like this is another good spot to like find that next step up from your tail slide, you know what I mean? And again, this one has a lot to do with momentum. As you turn your shoulders into that tail slide, you're gonna do the same thing as the half cab nose slide where you wanna keep turning until you get to that point at the end of the ledge, then you whip around. And a lot of this is upper body and a lot of it is your head. Your body will always kind of follow your head and where you're looking. So if you're tail sliding and you start looking over your shoulder here, the bottom half of your body is gonna follow. And I think that helps whip that 360 around a lot. So as I'm tail sliding, I'm trying to slowly start looking this way, still keeping an eye on the end of the ledge, And then when I get to the end of the ledge, I'm able to whip it around. Obviously, you need to have tail slides down. That's like the whole point of this video, is that you should have your tail slides and back tails and whatever tricks that like are kind of basics. You should have them not dialed, but you should be able to do them pretty consistently to then be able to take it to the next step. If you're not there yet, just keep going at your tail slides and your back tails and your half cab nose slides and whatever. Get all that shit in place enough to where you feel comfortable to even be able to do something out. Off and on raining all morning. It's annoying. I kind of forgot to mention, as you ollie into the tail slide, obviously you want to kind of wind up those shoulders so that when you get into the tail slide, your momentum is still going. You know, you don't want to just get into a normal tail slide and then be trying to turn your shoulders more. You want that momentum to start on the ground from when you pop. So you're going to whip into the tail slide, then keep that momentum going, and then whip out. Remember to use those eyes and look over your shoulder, front side, and that will kind of whip you around. You can pivot this trick on the ground a little bit too. I probably will pivot it on the ground a little bit too. Hard to get that complete rotation around, and sometimes it looks good. A little skirt around on the ground, you know, it could be, it's tasteful sometimes depending on how it ends up. But tail slide 270, let's see if we got it. I forgot to mention about like the lower half of your body and your feet. Obviously, as your upper body's doing all that and you come out of the tail slide, you kind of want to push down on your front foot. So as you're sliding, and then as you come out, you push down on your front foot to kind of give that like almost vertical-ish rotation. At least it helps a quicker rotation to kind of pull that front truck around 270. All right, I need to wax the ledge because you'd rather slide out in front of you because that'll help you rotate the 360 than be sticking the whole time. Oh my God. Not my best work, but like I said, this trick's kind of hard for me. I'll try to get another one though. Damn. That's the other thing too though, man. Like a lot of these tricks are personal preference. So like whatever works easier for you, obviously cater towards that. Like my friend Shane, right? He can front tail 270 amazing almost every single try, as to where I, for some reason, just struggle with that trick. I'd rather do it backside, to be honest, but I think backside for most people is harder. So just depends, but I'm gonna try and clean this one up a bit. I don't know, man. I don't know. That one will have to do for me. Wasn't terrible. A lot of skirtage though, a lot of sliding around on the ground on that 270, but again, certain tricks for certain people. That one's just not my favorite, but it could be yours. You never know. I'm not gonna go over back tail 270s in this video because I feel like that trick's just pretty hard for most people. If you'd like to see that, or if you'd like to see any other tricks that you want me to go over, just leave a comment below, I'll check it. Next, we're gonna get into big spins out. The big spin out for me is easier than the 270s. I think except for the half cab nose slide 270, I do think that's like the easiest of the tricks I've done today, besides the nose ground 180s. Then I would have to go with big spins. Front tail big spin, it's obviously a lot like the front tail 270, except you don't have to worry as much about your upper body. You kind of just want the board sliding out in front of you, right? So you're tail sliding, but you kind of want to be like behind it a little bit to give that board the extra shove off of the end of the ledge. Because the big thing with big spins out is being able to clear the end of the ledge. Instead of being super on top of the tail slide like this, you almost want to be more in the back seat like this, looking forward, so that when you get to the end of the ledge, you have that extra momentum to shove the board off the end. So as you're sliding, you need to almost shove that way so that when the tail comes around, it doesn't hit the edge. You're just gonna slide and you're gonna have enough speed. That's the thing too. You wanna have a good amount of speed to do big spins out for that clearance issue. Tail slide, and then you should be landing like way out here somewhere as long as you go with the proper speed. Hopefully you can see what I mean. It's not as much in the upper body because you don't need to turn that full 270, but you still want to wind up and whip your shoulders a little bit to help that momentum and have your body go to fakie. But really it's like a tail slide to fakie with an extra little oomph off the end of the ledge to bring that big spin around. So we'll try and get one. All right, well, it's raining and it's kind of too wet. I don't feel like slipping and end up getting hurt because it's too wet, so we will return. The rain got us the other day, so I'm back, day 2, gotta love the East Coast. I'm gonna pick up right where I left off and get this tail slide big spin for you guys. Stuck. I had the ledge sliding good the other day too, now I gotta refigure it out. I mean, I had a lot of pivot in there. It wasn't the cleanest one I've ever done. The front tails just aren't as cozy for me as back tails. But I'm gonna try and clean that one up a little bit. It was a little too pivoty for me. We'll get another one. That was a little less pivot. It's really all about just going out at decent speed, making sure you get in with that board a little bit in front of you, with your momentum still kind of carrying to fakie. And then as you get to the end of the ledge, using that back foot, pushing it forward, upper body just kind of going to fakie. There's gonna be a little trial and error trying to get the ledge to slide proper, or learning to get in the back seat like that on your tail slide. There's gonna be learning curves for sure. I'm not saying you're gonna do these tricks the first day you try them. That almost never happens with skateboarding. So definitely put the work in, use what I'm saying in this video to then help you figure these tricks out over time. Now we're gonna get to the backtail big spin. That's my favorite, much easier for me. I do it way more often. Then backtail big spins, similar to the front tail big spin, it's all about just ollieing in to the proper back tail. So as long as you have that dialed in, then you kind of figure out your slide. It's like a back tail to fakie. So you wanna be able to back tail, sit in it for a second, and then slowly keep turning, just like the front tail big spin. When you get to the end of the ledge, you give it an extra little shove, your body just goes to fakie, and you kind of use that slide to like swoop it around. It's all momentum based, it's all speed and timing of how your body's turning on the ledge. It is a lot like the front tail big spin. So whether you're better at front tail big spins, that might be easier, or like me, I'm better at back tails, so back tail is gonna be easier. Keep it waxed up, because you wanna be able to slide this trick consistently. If you're sticking, it's gonna be hard to get that full rotation of the big spin. Sliding out kind of helps the board swoop around. Try to get back tail big spin, see how it goes. All right, first tee. Yeah, like I said, clearly that one is more easy for me to do than the front side one. I'm gonna get one from the other side too, get you guys doubled up on the angles so you can really see my body and what I'm doing on top of the ledge. Two for two for backtail big spins. Let's go. All right, well, that is pretty much every trick that I wanted to cover in this video to kind of take your ledge skating to the next level. If you have these tail slides and back tails down and some of the basics, you should be able to figure out these tricks. Whether that means you'll learn them the first day, or maybe you'll learn them in a week or 2 weeks, whatever it is, everybody's different. And I'm not saying you'll be able to land these first try after watching my video, but definitely take the tips that I give in this video, try to apply them for yourself, and I just hope it helps you guys. Now I'm gonna try and get a kickflip back tail big spin out. I haven't done a kickflip back tail big spin in quite some time. I seem to do big spin back tail big spins more often when I actually think that it's a harder trick than the kickflip back tail big spin. The kickflip back tail big spin might give me some trouble just because I don't do it as often, but I'm gonna try and get that here for you guys. I'll see you in a sec. All right, that's a start. What was that? Again. I don't know why I couldn't big spin out of that one. Ooh. Give it a little wax, because like I said, you want to be able to really slide this one good so that it almost shoots you off the end. All right, see if that helps. God, how many times am I gonna land a kickflip back tail fakie and not big spin out? No way. Oh my God. There we go. We got it. It's been a while for that one for me. It wasn't as much of a struggle as I thought it was gonna be. I did get into like 3 kickflip back tails that I just didn't big spin out of for some reason. I just took them to fakie every time. Like I wasn't ready to do it, or I didn't know I was gonna get into a good one. It worked out, we got it. But keep me posted in the comments if this video helps you guys improve your ledge skating. I hope that it does. And anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace, yo.